Sideshow Bob is known for one thing: trying to kill Bart Simpson in the most over-the-top, dramatic ways possible. But what most people don't realize is that behind the evil laugh and fancy words is a life full of jealousy, failure, and one crazy plan after another. Let's get into the whirlwind that is Sideshow Bob's life, where genius meets the absurd, starting off with lofty ambitions.
Every time we say goodbye, I die a little.
Bob, a Yale graduate, could have been a beacon of success. Instead, he turned his vast intelligence toward revenge, obsession, and a lifelong feud with a 10-year-old. Early life and background. Sideshow Bob's life is like a Shakespeare tragedy directed by a circus clown, entertainingly disastrous and full of poorly planned schemes. Think about a Yale-educated man who could have been anything, choosing instead a life of crime, mainly focused on a clown. Yes, his life choices are as baffling as trying to solve a crossword puzzle with a paintball gun. But like every normal person, Bob also has a backstory. It's as tragic as it is hilarious. He started off on the high road with a fancy education and a family boasting brains and culture. But instead of a cap and gown, he ended up wearing prison stripes more often than not. His career took a nosedive from potential academia to literal pie-in-the-face slapstick as Krusty the Clown's sidekick. Not exactly the dream job for a Yale grad.
His show had been condemned by parents and educators alike as simple-minded TV mayhem.
His descent into villainy was fueled by daily humiliations at the hands of Krusty. Imagine being smart enough to read War and Peace in an afternoon, but spending your days getting smacked by rubber chickens. That's Bob's life. His revenge plans got more complicated over time, and each one failed more than the last. This guy's idea of a life goal is tying a TV clown to a giant weather balloon. It's not just a career low, it's a cry for help, or maybe just for a better script. Every time Bob seemed to be turning a new leaf, his old grudges pull him back like a bad sitcom rerun.
Oh, he's getting that stabby look.
It's hard not to laugh at his overly dramatic attempts at vengeance that usually end with him back in a jail cell. He's like the evil genius who could, except he really couldn't. So, has Bob had a good life? If you consider constant failure with occasional jail time as good, then sure. But let's be honest, his life is as tragic as it gets. With a twist. It's not every day you see a genius wasting his talents on trying to outsmart a clown and repeatedly failing. Poor Bob. He might need more than a therapy session or two. Let's see how Bob's tale took a dark turn. Feeling pushed to the edge, he made a choice that would haunt him forever. The turn to villainy. Sideshow Bob became a villain not just for revenge, but because he wanted respect after years of being humiliated by Krusty. This wasn't just a sudden snap. It was the result of a long build-up of frustration and degradation. And to be honest, anyone will become like this if they are constantly mistreated by someone. Bob wore his heart on his sleeve and meticulously planned his first major act against Springfield, targeting Krusty the Clown, the source of his public embarrassments. Krusty often made fun of Bob, and Bob got madder each time. One day, Bob had enough. He came up with a sneaky plan to make it look like Krusty stole from a store. He thought this would stop people from laughing at him. But Bob didn't count on Bart Simpson messing things up. Bart felt something was fishy and started to dig around for clues.
Look, Lisa, I know Krusty's innocent. Come on, Lisa. I think I can prove Krusty's innocent, but I need your help.
This was a big headache for Bob because Bart's snooping was ruining his plan. When Bart spilled the beans on the real story, Bob was bummed out. It stung to see his plan flop, but it stung even more to realize he had turned into the bad guy he never wanted to be. His plot to earn some respect totally backfired. Now everyone saw him as a crook, not just a TV sidekick. This kicked off a long battle between Bob and Bart. Bob kept cooking up new schemes, showing he was smart but really just wanting some respect. He wasn't just out to get Bart or stir up trouble in Springfield. He was also wrestling with his own mixed feelings, torn between getting back at Bart and still hoping to be respected. His switch from a funny sidekick to a famous bad guy is a sad but juicy story. Who would have thought Bob would be upset for so long? With every failed scheme, Bob's obsession with defeating Bart only grew stronger. Now, let's explore how this fixation drove him to concoct some of the most elaborate plots ever seen in Springfield. Bob's schemes against Bart.
Hello, Bart.
Mom! Dad!
Your family can't help you now.
Later, Bob comes up with some big and wild plans to get back at Bart or cause trouble for the Simpson family. Even though his ideas are clever and huge, they always end up going wrong. One time, he even became the mayor of Springfield. He tried to use his power to set a trap for Bart, but it backfired. Another time, while he was still in jail, he almost got Bart to accidentally hurt Krusty during a TV show.
Have Bart kill Krusty.
Krusty? That's one man I would never kill.
Bob keeps trying because he feels embarrassed by his past failures. He thinks beating Bart will prove how smart he is and make everyone respect him. This makes him keep coming back, trying even harder with bigger plans. But why does Bob focus so much on beating Bart? It's because every time his plans fail, it makes him feel even worse. He believes that winning against Bart will make him feel better and show everyone he's not a failure. So he keeps coming up with new schemes, each more elaborate than the last. Bob's ridiculous plans crash and burn. He just doesn't know when to quit. He throws everything into these schemes, convinced this one will finally work. And then boom, Bart ruins it again. It's like watching a supervillain stuck in a loop. That's what makes Bob so fun to watch. He's always plotting, always failing, and somehow always back for more. But even after having a grievance for Bart, Bob still tried to change his ways several times. He sometimes chooses to do good, even helping Bart, instead of always plotting against him. Character development and redemption arcs.
Indeed I do.
Sideshow Bob!
The Simpsons!
In the episode Italian Bob, Bob moves to a quiet little town in Italy. He becomes the mayor, marries a woman named Francesca, and even has a cute little son named Gino. No tricks, no evil laughs, just a peaceful life with a big mustache. But guess what? The Simpsons show up on vacation. And just like that, things fall apart. Bob saw them and begged them not to tell anyone who he really was. He just wants to keep living his new life in peace. But Lisa, being Lisa, finds out more about his past and accidentally spills the truth. The whole town hears it. The people get angry, and instead of saying sorry or trying to fix things, Bob loses it. He grabs his family and all three of them go full villain mode. Bob goes from friendly mayor to full-on maniac in seconds. He builds a trap. He chases Bart. He's back to his old ways like he never left. And guess what? His wife and kids are totally fine with it. It's like a weird family hobby now. In the end, the whole plan crashes and burns. The Simpsons escape. Bob's secret is out. And his chances at a peaceful life? Gone, just like that. Then in Funeral for a Fiend, Bob fakes his own death just to trap the Simpsons.
This man is dead, and you killed him.
For a second, it looks like he might be done with all the evil stuff. But nope, it's all part of another wild plan to kill Bart. And again, his whole family is in on it. By the time we get to The Bob Next Door, Bob has gone completely crazy. He switches faces with another prisoner just to escape and go after Bart one more time. No more pretending. He's back to being full-blown Bob. So yes, the show pretends he's changing. He gets smarter, fancier, even looks like a family man. But deep inside, Bob stays Bob. The guy just can't quit revenge. His story isn't about becoming good. It's about how good he is at acting good, until he pulls out a knife. Let's get into his family life after seeing how Bob can turn a new leaf. Believe it or not, his family plays a big part in his adventures and his attempts to change. Bob's family and relationships.
Cecil? Is it really you?
Sideshow Bob's story isn't just about his endless cat and mouse games with Bart. It's also all tangled up with his family stuff. His family really shakes things up, pushing him to either sort himself out or just mess up even more. It's like his family are a part of why he does what he does. Whether he ends up fixing his ways or just keeps slipping up, his family is right there in the mix, pushing him back to normality or not. First up, we've got Bob's younger brother, Cecil. Talk about sibling rivalry on steroids. Cecil often feels like he's just a sidekick in the grand saga of Bob's mishaps. Sometimes he even tries to pin stuff on Bob that Bob didn't do. This fires up Bob to show he's the top dog, which, let's be honest, sometimes leads him to make even goofier mistakes. Then there's Bob's wife, Francesca. She's like the calm in the storm of Bob's chaos. Francesca is super supportive, but occasionally she gets dragged into Bob's sneaky schemes. Even though she's the chill to his thrill, sometimes she accidentally makes it a bit too easy for Bob to keep stirring up the trouble. And don't forget their son, Gino, a mini Bob in the making. which has everyone biting their nails about his future choices. Bob adores Gino and tries to be the dad of the year, despite his own bloopers. It's like he's caught in a tug of war between Mr. Good Dad and slipping back into his old villain shoes. Bob's family really pulls back the curtain on his life. From brawls with Cecil to his dynamics with Francesca and Gino, we see how his family swings him better than his angels and his, well, not so great demons. They push him to be better, but also show just how tough it is for him to shake off his past. Peeking into Bob's family life lets us see why he acts the way he does. We find a guy stuck between wanting to be a hero and sometimes playing the villain. How his family backs him up or butts heads with him really molds his choices. This spices up Bob's story, painting him as a complex dude wrestling with a whole lot of personal drama. Now that we've seen how Bob's family influences his decisions, let's look at how he left a lasting mark on pop culture. Sideshow Bob isn't just a character on a TV show. He's become an icon in his own right. Cultural impact and reception. Sideshow Bob is, no doubt, one of the most famous characters from The Simpsons. People remember him because of his smart talk, wild plans, and that super creepy laugh. Over the years, he's become a big part of pop culture. Even if someone hasn't watched many episodes, they probably know who Sideshow Bob is. In short, Sideshow Bob's life is a wild mix of genius, madness, and non-stop drama. From opera singing to revenge plots, from jail cells to family dinners, his story is both hilarious and surprisingly deep. Bob isn't just a villain, he's a walking disaster with style. If you've enjoyed watching Bob fail in the most dramatic ways possible, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know which of his crazy schemes was your favorite or which one almost worked.